Welcome back to Firestorm Games and another Games Workshop unboxing video. This time we'll be taking a look inside the new Wurmspat expansion for Warhammer Underworlds, and as usual we'll be taking a look at the contents before assembling the miniatures themselves. So let's get started and take a look at the cards. First of all, we have the fighter cards, of which we have 3, one for each of the miniatures in the Warband. Each card is the usual arrangement. We have the artwork at the top, a photo of the miniature in the top left corner, followed by the abilities and stat lines in the bottom half of the card. This first card is the leader of this warband, Fecula Flyblown, who is very aptly named. We can see that she is a spellcaster, as denoted by the symbol next to her name, which can be used to cast Stream of Corruption. We also have her stat line at the bottom, which is something shared across the rest of the warband. Each character has a fairly average movement of 3, making them not a particularly speedy warband. They are also given a low defense of 1, which is offset by a couple of things, one of which being the high durability afforded by 4 wounds. The other resilient aspect of the warband is the shared ability to reduce the number of wounds received by an attack by 1, to a minimum of 1, for each shield rerolled on the defense roll. This means that your opponents will find themselves having to slowly whittle away those wounds, even with some of the harder hitting attacks, making the Wurmspat one of the more durable warbands out there, and somewhat making up for their smaller character count. This increase in defensibility is further boosted once the fighters become inspired, which will happen simultaneously as all the members share the same trigger condition. Should 3 or more enemy fighters be killed or have at least 1 wound allocated to them, then all 3 fighters will be flipped over to their inspired side. Once inspired, Fecula becomes a little more offensive, and that's not just the smell. Whereas Gulgok the Butcher and Sepsimus, the other 2 fighters, both receive an extra point of defense. Sepsimus probably benefits the most out of the fighters available in this warband, as once he becomes inspired, he is also given a damage boost to his base attack and a new, faster close range attack. As a result of these tempting bonuses, you will be wanting to evenly distribute these wounds as quickly as possible across your opponents, rather than taking them down one at a time. The remaining cards consist of a mixture of gambits, upgrades, and objectives. Some of these are generic and can be used in any Underworlds warband, whereas there are a number of Wurmspat specific cards as well. These cards are much more tailored to the Wurmspat style of fighting. They can help fill in some of those gaps, like their slow movement with the Unstoppable Tread, Steady Advance, and Unnatural Vitality cards, which means you're able to squeeze out that little extra movement per round. Other cards feed directly into this warband's strengths and can really help to further boost their resilience by allowing them to heal with Burgeoning, reducing the number of incoming attacks with Nauseous Revulsion, directly inflicting damage to enemies when they wound your fighters by using Living Plague, or damaging enemies just from them standing nearby with Rampant Disease. Particularly useful if you want to get that inspiration triggered. So with the cards looked at, let's talk a little about the miniatures found in this warband. As standard for Warhammer Underworlds, the miniatures are all single pose, push-fit plastic kits cast in a particular colour that helps your particular warband stand out from your opponents without the need for painting. Sepsimus and Gulgok are very much in keeping with the rest of the Maggotkin unit, particularly the Putrid Blight Kings, which is of course the faction that this warband is a part of. They each sport the putrefying bulbous lumps of flesh spilling out from behind corroded armour, with Gulgok forsaking any torso armour whatsoever in favour of letting his distended open wound covered stomach hang free. These guys also feature the usual physical mutations such as extruding spines, writhing tentacles, and a rather foul seeping appendage emanating from Sepsimus' rear. Although the less we talk about that, the better. Fecula Flyblown, on the other hand, is much more lightly armed and armoured than her 2 fighters, having more in common with the Sorcerer of Nurgle model, or Ethrak from Glotkin. She wears a tattered robe over grossly decaying flesh, and carries a gnarled staff formed from corrupted wood. Her greasy limp hair falls over a face, obscuring an equally diseased face. By her side is a strange combination of Nurgling and cat, known as a Wretchling. This faithful companion acts as a sort of witch's familiar, and so completes the old hag appearance that Fecula has. Overall, these miniatures look great, and they would work equally well as stand-ins for other models in your Maggotkin of Nurgle armies, as they do as a warband in Underworlds. They each have very unique appearances whilst remaining tied together visually, and of course the level of detail in the sculpts is top notch as per usual. So let's finish assembling these miniatures and take a look at the fully built warband. And here we have the full Warband. It's a great addition to the faction of Warhammer Underworlds, and the coloured plastic and snap-fit nature makes them great for beginners or anyone looking to get them onto the gaming table in no time at all. Now, if you're looking to pick up one of these warbands for yourself, then you should check out the Firestorm Games web store for at least 10% off that RRP, and you'll find a link to their page in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, do let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to be kept up to date with our latest videos. So I just want to say a big thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.